Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Sprinkle Happiness. I am your host, Nevriye, and today I am joined by a very special guest. Her name is Nicole Klenk, family coach, you name it. She is a resilience expert and transforms homes full of chaos into peaceful calm. Hi, Nicole. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, ahoy, like we say in Germany. How are you? I'm so glad and grateful to be here.
I'm so excited to talk with you because you're the expert in parenting. And, my passion is on happiness. And there's so many parallels because happy parents raise happy children and vice versa. If the child isn't happy, then it really affects their own emotional well-being. And I see so many parents struggling and want to shed light into, how they can improve their relationship with their kids, how they can raise resilient children and happy children because that's all we want, right? That's all we want. We want our kids to be happy and thrive in life.
Absolutely. Yes.
So let's start with the question, what is the number one mistake parents make? You probably have worked with many parents before. What are the mistakes parents make?
I intuitively wanted to comment on what you just said, and then you asked me this question, and that's perfect because the most common mistake, so to speak, is that most parents want their children to be happy. That sounds weird, but that's actually a problem if you want your children to be happy all the time, because it's like being hungry, you never feel satisfied or fulfilled if you never felt hungry. So being hungry, feeling that hole, as you say in English, well, my mother tongue is German, but the English language makes it so clear. Boredom comes from well, in German we say making a hole, if you translate it. And that actually brings it down to the point you need to feel a void. You need to feel boredom. You need to feel hunger in order to feel the opposite, in order to feel fulfilled and being happy. So yes, the most common mistake parents do is that they sometimes try too much to not allowing their children to feel the pain and feel unhappy and feel unsatisfied and feel the nasty emotions, the nasty feelings. But we all need to feel them, right? Because
Well, I
in
love that.
order to develop empathy, you need to feel all the emotions. So
I love
yes,
that.
you need to
Thank
allow your
you.
children to feel everything.
Thank you for sharing that. I intuitively and instinctively, it's our mother instinct that we want to rescue our kids if something happens and we want to help them. You don't want them to suffer, but you have a very powerful point because if we always rescue them and we always help out, they never build the muscle of resilience. They never improve and learn. And one day they're gonna be not let them fail. Let them learn from their
Yes,
mistakes.
absolutely. And also, I realize in my practice when I talk to parents, often they have a certain image of how they wish secretly. None of them openly talks about it, but and I can relate to that because when I got my children are now, I have two wonderful boys, they're 14 and 16 years old. When I gave birth to them, I imagined, oh, this one could be like this and this one could be like that, but actually they come to this world with their own personality, and it's not our job to be a technician and model them and fix them to be a certain way. Our job is to get to know them every day. And I'm still learning. I'm an expert in that field, but they're 14 and 16 years old. And every day I'm learning more and more about their character, about their development. And I'm just surprised. And our job is to be there for them, to love them no matter what, and not, wishing they could be a certain way. So this is the tough part, actually.
Oh my gosh, that was another bump right there. I love that. Giving them space to be themselves and unfolding into their true authentic calling and mission in life. And it may not be the way we want it to be, but just giving them the space because it's perfect. They are perfect the way they are. And
Absolutely,
I
absolutely. And I
love that.
realize that, yeah, yes,
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
you're
You
welcome.
know, I
Yeah,
remember
especially right now. My boys are in puberty and they need space and time to find out who they are themselves. They need to say no to mom and dad and to the world in order to find their yes for themselves. So, yeah, sometimes they'd say no, even though they mean yes, but they're just trying to figure out who they are. The grass doesn't grow faster if you pull it.
Mm.
As parents, have to be patient to let
Mhm.
them figure it out themselves.
I love that too. Thank you. One of the things I noticed, Nicole, is we are not just parents. We are also mentors and coaches, and our children are learning from us. They're modeling us how we handle challenges, how we overcome problems that are just bumps on the road that are coming on our way. They're looking up to us. You have to model by success, how you challenge, how you overcome challenges. So that also helps a lot raising resilient children. They're looking up at you.
Absolutely. Yes.
If you just throw your hand in the air, oh my gosh, I'm done. I'm done. It like I'll never recover. Children look at you. They are looking for clues, and it's going to shape how they handle their challenges down the road.
And I had that problem when I became a mom. I wanted to be little Miss Perfect, you know. I studied everything, the best car seat for a child and the best this and the best stroller and the best whatever. I mean, everything had to be perfect. And then I learned the hard way that sometimes good is good enough. Good is really
Yes.
good enough because you also have to survive, right? Yes. Perfectionism is not a good friend.
I can relate to that. Everything needs to be a certain way. But you know what kids crave the most is really your presence, your love and your presence. You can buy that. You can only give it to them with your heart. And
Yes.
what is something that parents can do right now to improve their relationship with their kids? It's not about just modeling, right? It's also about
Yes.
communicating. You want to
Yes.
understand, you want to give them freedom, but you also want to be
Yes.
firm. And you do an amazing
Yes.
job in that. I've watched you.
Thank you. You too. You talked so much about your children and how you did it. I think one thing you just mentioned it, and I couldn't say it more beautiful than you just did. I think that's the beauty of the English language. Present also means not being in the moment. It also means a gift, right?
Mhm.
I think that's
Mhm.
phenomenal. And I think that the greatest gift you can give somebody, not only your children, your spouse, especially in times when it's not functioning very well, be present. Just look at
Mm.
them in the eye. I think the eye contact is very, very important because I
Yeah.
always say you need to have a connection before you demand something, especially for your children. There's a higher chance they
Yeah.
take out the trash if you first look them into the eye, but don't use it as a trick to activate the relationship instinct in their head, to be fully present. And then if you can make them not, and Champions League would be if you can make them smile, the chances of them bringing the trash out are much
Oh
higher
my
because you
God.
just
I
made a
love that.
connection, right? But
I
you cannot
love
use that
that.
as a trick. You cannot use
I
that as a
love
trick. But honestly, just give them the present of 15 minutes of full presence. Look them in the eye. Don't have a goal. Just listen. Just be with them. Acknowledge them. See them, hear them, make them feel acknowledged. And I think this is what I wish for when my husband comes
Mhm.
home. I love it when he looks at me, he doesn't look at the phone. He's just there with
Mhm.
me.
I love that. They just want to be heard, understood, appreciated, valued. And nothing breaks my heart more than, and I have been in the past one of them, and just being on your phone when I see parents at dinner, everybody's on
Yes.
their phone. Or when I go to the pool and I see parents on their phone and the kids just having fun. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like they like want mamas and daddy's attention. They want attention, they want love, and they want you to be proud of them. And I think there's definitely opportunity for us to be even more.
Absolutely, absolutely. Kids, of course, they want to have 100% attention, but the good news is they don't need it. If you give them, I mean, even 40% would be more than enough. But yeah, sometimes you just need to realize that behavior, especially weird behavior, like them being weird or acting out or throwing a tantrum or a fit or being weird, is
Yeah.
actually a sign. It's a communication tool telling us, okay, they need more of it. It's like a a flower turning its head towards the sun. You would never say, "Oh, this flower is very selfish, you stupid flower." It's just
Oh my
natural.
god.
And
Yes,
so is this behavior. Put
that
your
is
phone
that is
away for once and then give them the attention and then go back to your phone and do whatever you want to do.
I really
Yes.
admire I have not done as good of a job, that you are very disciplined and very particular when electronics are used, when they can get on their phone, what they are allowed to watch. So tell me a little bit, what can parents do,
Yes.
especially now,
When it
like
comes to Yes, when it comes to devices, electronic devices, I was never the most popular mom in our town in Frankfurt. I live in Frankfurt, Germany, but I'm still very proud. And you know what? I am. So our 16-year-old, he just was allowed to get his Instagram account because I wanted to wait until he's 16. And our younger one, the 14-year-old, he just recently said we went to Thailand on a vacation, and he said, "Mom, I'm going to be even more strict than you were with us," because he was looking around and even little ones were on the phone. And he said, "I'm going to not give them their devices until they're 18." And I thought, well, good luck with that.
yeah, I was saying good luck with that. It's so hard, like, it was probably
Yeah.
really hard. How did you do that? Like
I did not expect them to like me for that. I did not need their agreement. As a matter of fact, I knew if I would say no, they would not like that. But I'm not their best friend. I'm their mom, and there is a hierarchy in relationship. Even though, yes, I'm treating or we are treating our kids with, you know, respect, and we don't misuse our power because we have power as parents, but there's a hierarchy, and there needs to be a hierarchy whenever we are in an institution and in the institution family. Kids need to look up because they need to follow, because human beings are followers. And being in the leadership costs a lot of energy. That's why being a mom and dad is so freaking hard. It's the hardest job in the world.
yeah,
So yes, they need who is a role model and who says no comfortably. So I don't expect them to say, "Oh, yeah, sure, mom, you're right." They're kids, they're teenagers, they don't do that. But I can collect the fruits, so to speak. That's how we would call it in
mm,
German, because my 14-year-old just said, "What you did is really, it's right, because you let us feel boredom." And that made me, for example, our youngest one just pulled out his harmonica. He learned that instrument because he was bored. So that's cool. It's better than being on the phone the whole time. So they actually like it, but they
I
don't do that when
love
they're
that.
8 or 9 years old.
Well, there are a bunch of research studies out there that boredom fosters creativity. We need to be bored. But what do we do now? Like most of us, and I'm one of them, that we just try to distract ourselves. We get on our phone, we watch something, we talk to somebody, we try to avoid being bored when actually that is helping us grow and be more creative.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
We need to do more of that.
Yes, absolutely. Not only you are more creative, but you become more relaxed. See, serenity and being relaxed comes from doing something that is not work for the brain. And
Yeah.
there's research. I mean, I love the book Generation Anxiety by Jonathan Haidt. He's a social psychologist. And he proves that since the iPhone is out, since 2010, and especially since Instagram was invented 2012, the suicide rate in girls went up 184%.
Wow.
And
That's
a
unbelievable.
lot of children are anxious or alarmed. They are fuzzy the whole time. And being bored relaxes you because you calm down. All of
Mhm.
these stress hormones, they go out and you become very calm and centered. And that's actually what parents need. They need to, if you're a leader, you need to learn self-leading, self-leadership, how to regulate your own emotions. So we need to allow ourselves to become calm. Like I meditate almost every day, and become very calm, and just nothing else is going on. And then creativity comes, and then all of this fuzzy energy, it comes out of your body. And that's what we want, right? We want to be centered. We want to think clear because we need to make good decisions.
Yeah. That was very helpful. Thank you for sharing that, Nicole. That's why
Thank you.
that's why I'm so passionate about happiness. And our professor is always sharing with us, give yourself
Yes.
permission to be human. You are allowed to
Yes.
feel all emotions, not just good and bad. As much as we want our
Yes.
kids to be happy, they need to feel those ups and downs. They need to
Yes.
fail to be strong for themselves.
Yes.
I get reminded of it every day, is to
Nice.
slow down. Almost like all these go, 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 go. I got to do that and I got to do that. He always tells us, don't rush through life. Enjoy life every day. I don't want to rush through the
Yes.
day. I don't want to. Maybe the today is my last day. Maybe today is all that I have. I don't want to rush through life.
Yes.
I want to enjoy life. So you can never catch up with everything you need to be doing. Just focus, like that's what I'm trying to do. Focus on the three things that you need to get done. That's the most important thing.
Yes.
And everything else, you know, in German we say, "Ruhe." I love that. I love that.
My mom
I
said
love
that all the time.
it's like
There's
one
power in
thing at a
silence. She always said that.
Yeah, one thing at a time. I focus on one thing at a time because when you multitask, you, excuse my language, half-assing everything. So one thing at a time,
Oh,
get one
good.
thing done,
I
and then
love
you do
that.
the other. Yeah, because you
Yes.
can't really focus, give your all doing two things at the same time. Sometimes I try to listen to a podcast or listen to an audiobook, and while I just jog or I don't retain anything. I get distracted looking at that and looking at that. I'm like, what's the point here? I want to really
Yes.
enjoy, get the most out of the moment and really enjoy. And
Yes.
our professors, doing Dr. Tal Ben Shahar, he's one of the leading happiness experts. Um, he's really trained me to appreciate the little things. Now I see things I had not noticed before, like things
Like
in the
what?
nature, like things in the nature. I look at like it can be as simple as a bird feather. This is such a beautiful feather. It probably took years to grow this. Like it just triggers my curiosity, or like what else is around me I'm not noticing. Like the leaves on the palm trees, I'm like, they're so symmetrical. It's just miracle unfolding in front of us, and we're so busy in our everyday to day life, trying to keep up with this and trying to just respond to that. I'm like, now I'm like training myself. No phone in the morning. I'm gonna, do my own thing first. I'm gonna get my coffee. I'm gonna enjoy my coffee without checking my emails, because that's, again, I can enjoy my coffee if I'm at the same time reading bad news. Like, some of the emails are just, are not the surprises you want to see. So one thing at a
Yes.
time. It's just, you know, it's just
Yes.
these little micro moments add up. And that's why I'm so passionate about happiness, because since I started studying it, I started implementing those, and they don't have to take hours. You cannot read. There's no excuse saying, I don't have time for that. It can be a couple minutes here and couple minutes there. These micro moments add up, and it will change your life. And I have experienced that. I've experienced that. I'm so passionate about sharing it with others. I'm like, guys, this, you want to be more happy, you got to do less of the things that you hate, and do one thing at a time and appreciate the miracle around you. It's a privilege to be alive. It's a privilege. No matter what happens, it's gonna pass, it's gonna go.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that matches my slogan. I always say, feel and be real. Feel. If you do so many things at one time, you don't feel. And then you're not authentic. You're not real. And then you play a role and then you act out and act like a monster or like, I don't know. Yeah, so I love what you're saying. Absolutely. I can only
Mm-hmm.
agree 100%. Yes.
How does your perfect morning routine looks like?
I do sleep 8 to 9 hours. I make sure I sleep 8 to 9 hours. If I don't, I'm not myself. And then I have to, catch up. So I wake up and the first thing I do I brush my teeth and stuff. And then I have my peptide drink with half of a lemon squeezed in and some ice cubes. I like it ice cold. And I flush that down. And then I go into the shower and actually, my grandmother, she taught me that. I know there's a lot of research about that, but she taught me, she went to the sauna like twice a week and she taught me how to brush your body with a body brush. So I'm also doing that. And she told me that when I was 12 years old, that showering ice cold every morning after I showered warm is actually good.
Wow.
So I'm doing this since I'm 12, and that's
Oh,
what I do. And then I also listen to something that feeds my brain, like a lecture, a psychology lecturing, or a podcast, not so often, or an audiobook on a psychological topic. My husband always says, this must come out of your ears by now because you've heard these things so many times, but I never get tired of it because I'm like a sponge. I just soak it up and I just love it. I just love learning more about educational science, about developmental psychology, and all of these
mm.
topics about coaching, about how people function and stuff like that. So
I
I
love
feed
that.
my brain. And then when I'm finished with that, I always work out. Sometimes I have a rest day in a week when my muscles feel very sore. But even though if I don't work out with weights, I just started that two almost 2 years ago. I just go for a walk or, I run some errands, but I do it by foot. And this is great because I live in a big city. Everything is close by. So I can go to the store, buy something there, go to the post office. I don't need the car. And this is really great. So I always wait until 11 o'clock. So I don't eat breakfast. And then I do my lunch. So 11:30, I do my lunch. When I'm on vacation, I try to have breakfast as late as possible at around 11 o'clock. So I try to have that intermediate fasting of 15, 16 hours between the last dinner and the breakfast. And
It's
that's
so helpful.
basically, yeah, the
So good
most
for you.
important thing. So I take care of my body first. If I'm in a bad mood, I always write down every morning how I feel because I want to track that. And I realized I always felt not so energized when I had less than 8 hours of sleep. That's why it became so important for me because, I'm beyond menopause. I'm 54 now, and this is really crucial for me. So I always ask myself, how do I feel? And what can I do to make myself feel better? Or how can I get more energy? So this is the question I ask myself every morning.
That's
And
awesome. That's like everything you need to be doing to take care of your body and take care of your mind. Happiness has different pillars. It's your intellectual growth, it's your relationship, it's your physical body. Like all these little things is going to help you be happier and live a better, more fulfilled life. What really, really sparks people curiosity is to how to live a more fulfilled life despite life challenges. And resilience does not mean you're always in good mood. It does not mean you never fall down. It does not mean you always succeed. You never fail, right? You can be happy and still have unhappiness in your life. Yes. And that's very hard.
yes,
It
you
I
need
need to
both.
train me too. I need to train me to focus. It's like a double lane road. We decide which lane we want to drive at, but it is like you cannot shut down one. You cannot wait for all the challenges and to go away for you to decide to be happy. Many people waste their entire life and realize by the time they are 80 or when they look back years later, my gosh, what a waste of lifetime it was to worry all the time or
Yes.
to worry about this or to hold the grudge. So I want to have that's a totally different episode on just forgiveness. Forgiveness, just I see many people. That's an obstacle. That is an obstacle to many people's happiness is forgiveness, holding a grudge. Maybe you have to forgive yourself, but that's a whole nother episode right there.
Looking forward to do that.
Yes, because
Absolutely.
same thing with boredom. You gotta create the space. You gotta let go of
Yes.
some things, whether a person, whether it's a grudge, whether it's something that is no longer serving you. You gotta create space for something new to grow.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes when something
Yes,
ends.
and feel it even if it's painful.
Mhm.
Yes. We had a period where I actually should do that again now that you remind me of. Thank you for that. I
What
used
is
to
it?
ask my kids every night, so what mistake did you do? Can you talk about a failure that you experienced? Because I wanted them to learn that making mistakes is has a culture, has a place in this family, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because most of the times you learn something out of it. That
Mhm.
reminds me, I should do that again. Thank you.
What did you learn from it? How did it make you grow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, yes, yes.
What is one
Yeah.
of the biggest
Yeah, because
failures
we
you had? What is the one of the things that first thing that comes to your mind? The biggest failure of your life, and what did you learn from it?
wanting to be the perfect mom, doing
Mhm.
everything perfect. Oh my God. I actually paid a high price for that. But now I'm absolutely comfortable with saying, you know what? Good is good enough. I'm doing my best. And I learned that I don't have to defend myself anymore.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely comfortable. And
Mm.
that's why I don't need fights and power struggles anymore because I put the weapons down because what you see is what I am, and with all my failures and mistakes and edges and whatever, and I think that makes us human, right?
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. We're not perfect. Why are we even trying? Like you try so hard to put an image out
Does that
there.
even exist? It doesn't exist.
It
Or do
does
you
not
know anybody who
exist
is?
because we don't want to be judged. We don't want others to not like us. We want to be no be liked and success. We want to be belong. We don't want to belong to the in group. It's all in our genes. We just want to thrive. And we were putting an image out there, but every time I did that, it hurt me more than it helped me. Every time I did that, it hurt
Yes.
me more because I moved away from my true authentic self. And then one day you wake up, you look in the mirror, and you don't recognize yourself anymore. That's kind of like a
So
holy
tell me, what was your biggest failure?
I need to apologize to myself for letting me down. I let myself down for so many years, thinking I'm not good enough, thinking I am not capable, thinking that, simple thing as this podcast. I thought that was for the others. It took me almost 50 years to find my voice. That was my biggest failure, but also my biggest victory. Now I can model it so other people who are silenced can find their voice because I know how it felt like,
Yes.
trying to fit
I
into
love
a
it.
box, trying to fit into a cultural limitation, and always trying to meet other people's expectations of me. I let me down. That was my biggest failure. But now I my my defeat, not really a defeat, into a strength. Now I'm building it into a strength. So that is past. I have failed many times.
Bravo.
I could write a whole book on my all my failures. But you know what? I'm still standing. I'm still standing and I'm trying again. I'm gonna
Yes.
fail again. I know I'm gonna fail again. I'm gonna start many other businesses. All gonna go close. Maybe they're not. But I'm still standing. I'm trying again. I'm gonna try again and I'm gonna try and I'm gonna grow and get better and get better and get better.
Yes.
And that is the key to my happiness is progress. As long as I'm making progress, because that's another key to happiness that we are learning, that it's not about the destination. If you focus on the destination, you miss the
Yes.
whole point. It's about the journey.
Yes.
Like making progress every single day means happiness. It's not about the destination. The destination may never come, but then you're missing out all the joy you could have every single day just by appreciating, really appreciating, giving yourself a pat on the shoulder. I did great today.
Yes.
That's happiness to me.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Life comes in waves. You need to learn how to ride and surf the waves,
Write
right?
it.
It goes
I
up
can write
and down
it.
in life.
I love being in the flow. That's my Chinese element who
Yes.
once taught us. I am my element is water. I need to flow. I cannot swim against the current. That exhausts me. That frustrates me. I need to go flow. If I don't want to do that right now, I want to do that later, and I want a little bit me time. I do exactly that.
Yeah.
It's okay. It just
Nice.
go with the flow of life, and maybe it's a up, and maybe it's a downtime of your life, but it never lasts. The up doesn't last and the down doesn't last.
Yes.
Yes.
It's true. There's one thing you can be sure of, right? It always goes up and down and up and down. So
Yep.
why
If
not
you're happy
enjoy
now,
it?
Yes. I mean, if you're happy now, appreciate it, enjoy it because your happiness is not gonna last forever because tomorrow maybe something happened that you don't like, maybe a surprise by the universe that's like not a good surprise, not something you want. But
Yes.
it's part of the life journey.
Yes.
We're
And it's
human.
nothing you can tell yourself cognitively. It is something that you have to experience. Like 3 years ago, so many bad things happened in our life, and we had to face tremendous challenges, problems. But my brain actually told me, okay, this is going to be shitty. This is going to be tough. And I don't know the answer to it, but I have this faith in me that we will survive and we can make it as a family. And it was really bad. Everybody felt bad. This is something you can not learn cognitively. This is something you need to experience by failing and going up and down and up and down again. So your
Mhm.
brain tells you, okay, this is going to be tough, but yeah,
That's
we
so
can handle
important.
this.
That is so important because nowadays it always strikes me like we get more abundant with so much resources available and people are getting more miserable. Depression rates, anxiety rates, mental health issues is skyrocketing globally. It's even more important to share these insights with whoever needs it. Just
Yes.
focus on what is working and there are no good and bad emotions. It makes us human. It makes us feel alive. Thank God I am alive and I get to experience all this. So happiness isn't easy. It's not easy. It's a daily habit. It's a daily practice. But you
Yes.
gotta be willing to do the work. You gotta be willing to make these micro shifts in your day to day life. And what I learned, Nicole, is it's not about this one big vacation. It's not about this one big paycheck or this one big thing in your life that's going to make you happy. What has the biggest impact in your life are the things you do repeatedly every single day. And if you do that right, you're going to be overall much happier than you used to. But you got to be willing to put in the work. Minutes or whatever you have available, it will have an impact. So, thank you for joining me.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time,
Thank
for sharing
thank you for doing
insight.
this. I love that.
Let's do another one and share more with our listeners and our
Love to.
audience. Everybody needs a little bit sprinkle in their life. We can always do better.
Yes.
Even if you're doing great, we can always do better for ourselves and our
And
loved
let's
ones.
share some more mistakes and failures we did. That's
Oh yeah,
fun
let's do
actually
that.
talking about it.
Let's
Now
let's
there.
let's do a podcast. Yes, let's do that. Let's do a podcast and say and call it something like our biggest fuck ups or something. Yeah, our biggest
That's good.
mistakes, biggest failures, and I'm sure we can all have our stories that made us stronger.
Absolutely. Yes.
Until next time, thank you everybody for tuning in. I see you next week with a brand new episode of Sprinkle Happiness. Bye bye.